Thank you guys for hopping on our team call this week. I know that it's a different day and time, so thank you guys that are on live with us for rearranging your schedules to fit it in. I'm really excited because this week we have Brianne speaking on our call, and she's like a super awesome rock star coach. She has so many accolades. I'll try and remember them all, but she is an 8-star diamond in her first business center. And for those of you that don't know, once you hit 2-star diamond, you get to open up a second business center. And that basically means you have 2 businesses that you're working and running. And in your second business center, that you can also build a team. And she is 3-star diamond in her second business center. She's a Success Club 10 legend, which just means she has hit Success Club 10 24 months in a row, but she's actually hit it 39 months in a row. And she's a 6-figure earner, and she's a 2-time elite coach, meaning that she is basically super awesome at building a strong team continuously. And she's going to give us her best tips and tricks on how to get over the fear of inviting. And I think no matter where you're at in your business, whether you joined today or you joined 2.5 years ago, there's always some level of maybe anxiety that you have about inviting, or different levels of what to say, what do I do, who do I invite, all of those things. And so I think really anyone can benefit from this call. So Brianne, you can kind of take it away, and if you want to share a little bit more about your story or just jump right into your tips, we can go ahead and do that.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for hopping on. I know it's 5 o'clock on the East Coast, so this is probably a tough time. So thank you guys for yeah. See where she is. You can sit in here, but we're not gonna. I can't make a tent, but you can sit down here. So summer vacation, and everybody's still adjusting. And Samantha asked how my daughter was feeling. My 4-year-old had her tonsils out last week, so she's a little whiny, a little clingy. She sort of is just kind of following me everywhere. You can take those out of the box if you want and just sit in there. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to talk about the fear of inviting. And for me, this was something, I think, because when I sort of jumped into this business, I didn't really have any kind of expectations. So this wasn't something that I struggled with in the beginning. It was something I sort of struggled with as my business grew. But if you're a new coach, kind of no matter where you are in this business, I think at some point we all sort of go through it. And I'm going to give you my top 1, 2, 3, 4, if I'm looking at my list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tips to fight the fear of inviting. And the thing is, guys, is these aren't crazy things. They're simple. But, you know, we talk about the fear of inviting, and I know we had said it was invite, 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 and now Carl has kind of changed it. It was like attract something and then invite. I still call it invite, 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 because it's just sort of inviting to different aspects, whether you're inviting them to just sort of join. Not now. Not now. Okay, I don't have one. Go upstairs then. Whether you are inviting to the business opportunity, whether you're inviting to a challenge group, whether you're just inviting somebody to follow you, these can sort of all apply. So we know that inviting is the #1 vital behavior. But unfortunately, it's the one that's skipped the most. And I think because there's so many different things that go into it, that it's not really just the fear of inviting. It's the fear of rejection. It's the fear of sounding salesy. It's basically like a fear of failure. We don't want people to tell us no. But the first tip is that you really just have to be real, and you have to be vulnerable. And, you know, we talk about the fact that we want to help people change their lives, and we want to help them get healthier. And when they're finally ready to say yes to that, they're sort of coming to us at one of, if not the most vulnerable points in their life, one of the most scariest points in their life. So you have to be able to be real, and you have to be able to share that sort of vulnerable side of you with them. That you were scared, but that you did it anyway, or why you were scared, or what you were apprehensive about. You know, when somebody says, I'm worried about this, and it's something that you can relate to, let them know. Be like, you know what? I felt exactly the same way. Here's why I can sort of resonate with you. with that. And, so many times we talk about, they have all of these excuses on why they can't do it. And when you can sort of relate to that, you can help them see that all the excuses, why they say that they can't do this, are all of the reasons why they should. I can't become a coach because I don't have enough time with my kids. That's why you should become a coach. I can't become a coach because, I don't have $140 to buy a challenge pack. Wouldn't you love to just take your kids to the zoo for the weekend and drop $100 or drop a couple $100? Wouldn't you love to be able to have that luxury of being able to afford to make memories? It's our job to sort of help them see that, and to help them see that just because they feel stuck now doesn't mean that they're always going to feel stuck, that there is something that can help them in sort of all aspects of their life. The next thing is, honestly, just be confident. Own it. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be 100% with your containers every single day of your life. So many people aren't. I'm not. But I let people know that, they know I love my chocolate. They know I love my wine. And they know that, if I've had a rough day, my yellows are getting maybe more than one yellow, are being converted to wine that night for me. They know that about me, and they know that I'm not perfect. But it comes down to so many different facets of it when we're talking about confidence. It doesn't matter if you're a new coach. It doesn't matter if you have never hit Success Club or you've never actually sold a challenge pack. If you're wanting to run challenge groups, post about your challenge groups like they're incredible, like they're super successful. Share that, post about it, and just say, I have, this person had great, it doesn't have to be a transformation from somebody that was in your group. Take a transformation from Beachbody's website of the program that you want to start a challenge group for, and share their results and say, I am looking for 3 or 5 or whatever motivated people who want to get results like this. I can help you do this. I can give you the support that you need. If you don't have a success story, find one. I didn't have a big weight loss transformation story. My transformation was all on the health side and the financial aspect. So that's what I share. My husband lost 45 pounds with Shakeology and the Ultimate Reset. So when we're talking about that, I share his transformation story. Don't be wishy-washy in your invites. This goes back to confidence too. When you're inviting people to a challenge group, you're not going to say, hey, so-and-so, I'm not sure if you'd be interested in this. It might not be something that's up your alley, but I'd like to see if you want to join my challenge group. If somebody sent me an invite like that, I'd be like, no, I don't want to join. You don't even sound excited about it. You don't even sound confident in what you're inviting me to do. So why would I want to join you? But if you're inviting somebody, for example, to the business opportunity, and you're like, you know what? I feel like you would rock this business. I feel like you'd be great at this. I really think I would love to have you come and just listen for 20 minutes to, the live call that I'm doing or the live webinar that I'm doing or whatever, because I think that you'd be great at this. If I can do this, you certainly could have success with this. Would you be willing to come and listen? When you lead with confidence and you can sort of project that confidence, people are going to respond to that. But if you already have that self-doubt in your head and you're already sort of wishy-washy with even approaching people, that's going to put people off, and they're going to say no because they're going to feel like, well, she's not even confident in Shakeology or the products that she's talking about, or she's not confident in her abilities to support me. Why would I join her group? So find that within you. And just as a side note, if you're somebody who does struggle with that, if you struggle with self-doubt, if you struggle with confidence, The Magic of Thinking Big is like one of my favorite personal development books that I recommend for stuff like that. I have all my new coaches read it. It definitely gives you a better sort of headspace and mindset in dealing with self-doubt and things like that. So that's one of my tips. Brand yourself. This is super important, guys. Find out who your market is. Find out who your market is. As soon as you try to market to everybody, you do yourself such a huge disservice. Find the people that you want to cater to. Find out who your tribe is. Find out who your lifer is. People talk about it as an avatar. People may talk about it as finding your tribe. I'm a big follower of Shalene Johnson, and she talks about finding your lifer. And it's all the same thing, whatever sort of word you want to slap on it. But find the people that are most like you and the people that you want to market to, and focus on that. There's a huge enough market for everybody out there. You don't have to market to everyone, because by trying to spread yourself out and trying to market to everybody, you're going to skip over the people who would really gravitate towards you naturally. Okay, take it back upstairs, okay? Okay, but where's my phone? I don't know, check in your room. Be unique with your posts. And this is super important because, look, our products work. We know that Shakeology is like the best thing ever, especially when you first start drinking it and you don't know what it is, and a week after drinking it, you feel like Superman because it's so good and it makes your body feel great. And we know how crappy we feel if we skip a shake for a day or two. We know the products work. There's a million before and afters. They could put our products on the shelves of Walmart and Target and they would do just fine. But people are going to buy into you. So what's going to make you different? Be unique with your posts. Because when people see that, that's what's going to attract them to you. When they see you maybe doing, a 30-second clip of the Country Heat sneak peek instead of just posting the stock photo from Beachbody for Country Heat and saying, this is coming in August. There's nothing that sort of frustrates me more when I sign on to Facebook the morning of a product release and my entire feed is the same photo from Beachbody. And that's what sort of makes people salesy. That's what makes people not want to work with you, because they think that you're sounding salesy. But when you can add value and you can say, look, I'm doing this workout, come join me and do this workout, or here's a tip that I have, or you're going live on Facebook and sharing your story and sharing what you're excited about this program, or you're sharing struggles that you've had with the program that you're currently doing. People are going to buy from you. Make a list. This is also super important. I can't tell you how crazy it makes me when I find out that coaches that are like, oh, I have all these goals, and they're inviting people and they haven't been following up because they don't have a list. You can't operate without a list. I don't care what kind of list you use. Some people like pen and paper. Some people like Excel. Some people are using that Teamsy site. Some just have, they do it all through Streak and Gmail. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just keep a list of people. Can you guys go for like 10 minutes? No, out. I don't care. My house has been quiet all afternoon. Like, I'm not even kidding. I had my kids at the pool this morning and my house was literally silent for like 2 hours. And I didn't say to them, I have to get on a call, because I knew they'd follow me, and they followed me anyway. Sorry. So working from home at its best, right? So here's the thing is you have to have a list to operate off of. And it's so important for so many reasons, because you can track your follow-ups. You can track what people are saying. If they have a reason why they can't do it, maybe they're getting ready to move. Maybe they've got stuff going on. Maybe they're crazy like this week or next week because they're traveling and they want to start something when they get back. You can keep those sort of notes as you follow up with them, so that you know that you can go back to them, or the next time 21-day fix goes on sale, if right now is not a good time for them. If they say, but you know what, if it goes back on sale in the fall, once my kids are back in school, I'm in, absolutely, let me know. so that you know when it comes back around on sale, be it September or October or whenever it's going to go back on sale, because we all know it will, you can go back to them and say, hey, listen, we spoke back in June and it just wasn't good for you. The kids were out of school and everything was kind of crazy. Are you ready now? And they'll remember that they told you that, and they'll, people respect that when you come back and you're like, I know that you said this. Like, I wanted to make sure that I followed back up with you. Because I don't want you to change your mind and then have to pay more money down the road for it. Things like that. Make sure, don't prejudge people. That's like the biggest thing is I have so many people say, well, I don't want to invite this person or I don't want to invite that, but you have no idea what people are going through behind closed doors or behind Facebook or anything like that. When I started Beachbody, we were so broke, like wasn't even funny. My little one was just about a year old, and my husband had been out of work. He got hurt at home, so he didn't have workman's comp. We had like a really small disability policy. We had to max out all of our credit cards that we had just paid off. And nobody knew that. Like, I wasn't posting about stuff like that on Facebook, because why would I want to tell people that? Like, I was selling stuff on Craigslist and on garage sale pages so I could go and buy diapers and buy groceries. So why would I want to share that with people? Thankfully, I was invited to this opportunity. And had I been prejudged and said, well, she looks like everything's great, she's home with her kids, I'm not going to invite her, I have no idea where I'd be today. Maybe living in a box, who knows? But the thing is to not prejudge people and to really find those people that you may be afraid to invite because they'd be so good at this business, and reach out to them anyway, because you never know what they're going to say. And this goes into number 5, which is probably, for me, it's one of the most important ones. And it's just to remember that fear goes both ways. Guys, we are not the only people with fear. It's so funny because I hear my coaches say this all the time, like, I'm afraid of this, and I'm afraid of somebody telling me no, and I'm afraid of this, and I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me. And I don't know if any of you guys follow Brittany Leggett on Facebook, and if you don't, you should follow her because she always posts good stuff. But she posted something this morning, and it's something that I say to my coaches a lot. And she phrased it a little differently, but it talks about fear. And she basically said, you have to stop caring about what other people think, because their opinion isn't going to cut you a check. And it's so important to remember that. Like, who cares if people think your posts are dumb? Let them unfollow you. It doesn't matter. But to go back to this, I feel like we sign up as coaches, and all of a sudden we forget that everybody else in the world is a human being just like us. And we think that we are the only ones that are ever afraid of anything. We're the only ones that are afraid of inviting. We're the only ones that are ever afraid of being told no. We are the only ones that worry about what people may or may not think of us in any sort of aspect, whether they think that, the shake that you drink is stupid, or it's dumb that you work out from, like, who cares? Who gives a shit, really? But what we keep forgetting is, for every person that we're afraid to reach out to and invite, there's somebody just as afraid to reach out to us. Somebody who's following us on Facebook or another form of social media, or somebody who's watching us and they're saying, oh my gosh, look at what she's doing. She's got this great workout that she's doing at home, and she's drinking the shake and she looks so good. She's lost 40 pounds. And my gosh, I have like 50 or 60 pounds to lose. Oh my God, I can't ask her. I'm afraid. So for every time that there's, sorry, that was like weird. So for every time that there is somebody that we're afraid to reach out to, you have to remember that there's somebody probably following your post, afraid to like or comment on anything out of fear of what other people or even you may think. And you never know who you're going to reach out to and say, you know what, I really wanted to invite you to this group that I'm doing. I know you've been posting that you haven't been feeling so great about yourself. These groups are so supportive and they're full of all these encouraging women. And I just would love to have you join us and try this out. And you never know that they may say, you know what, I really wanted to. I wanted to reach out to you, but I've been afraid. We have to be the ones to take that step, because you very well could save somebody's life just by doing that. Be consistent. This is like the easiest thing in the world to remember to do, and it's the hardest thing to do, but you have to be consistent. You have to show up every single day. You have to show up when you're tired. You have to show up when it's hard. You have to show up when you're busy. Look, guys, we run a business on Facebook. It's not hard to take 30 seconds a couple times a day and throw a post up on Facebook. It's not. When you're meal prepping, take a couple of pictures of your containers, keep them on your phone. And it's a great way to say, you know what? I have to go to a barbecue later today. I don't want to overeat. I'm taking my shake with me. So I have my shake in the car, and then I won't eat a ton of crap once I get to the barbecue. Or I have my kids have this, or my kids have that, or my kids have swim lessons. And you know what? I could take a purple container and I can take a blue container, and I've got fruit and I've got almonds with me to sort of cover my snacks, so I don't have to buy crap food at the snack bar while I'm at the pool with my kids. You have to show up every single day. And it's the most important to show up times like now, the busy season of life. We've got Father's Day this weekend. I don't know if any of your kids are still in school. Mine have been out for like a week and a half. It's pretty chaotic here. The kids are going to get out of school, whether they've got camp or you've got just day-to-day things, having kids home when you're not used to having kids home all day for the whole school year. It sort of throws everything into a loop. And, everybody's going to get ready to go to Summit, and everybody's busy. And it's the most important thing that you show up during the busy season, because so many people will drop off. The people who don't take this business seriously are going to drop off. They're going to say, you know what? Kids are home, life is busy, I'm taking 3 weeks off. And you know what? You know how much their business will stall in taking a month off in the summer when everybody's home and everybody's out and everybody's doing things and everybody's worried about how they look in a bathing suit. Everybody's worried about being at the beach with their kids or things like that. You have to show up, especially if you're somebody who wants to consistently invite to the business opportunity. You never want people to think that this business is so time consuming that you can't fit it into your life. That's not what we're about. We're not about working 12 hours a day. We're not about working 8 hours a day. I'm not about working 8 hours a day. I work maybe 3 hours a day, maybe 4. And that was when my kids were in school. Now they're home. I'm lucky if I get, 2 hours in when they go to bed at night, because I fit this business in around my life. The ones who don't value this business as a priority are going to be the ones who drop off. So you have to be present. You have to let people know that you're here, because here's what's going to happen. So we've got 21 Day Fix Extreme on sale now. Carl was on live a couple hours ago and he was talking about they're looking for people for a new Fix Extreme infomercial. That's a great way to get people involved in the middle of the summer. It's genius. Get a bunch of people together. They've got half an hour a day. Get their workout in and work with them. Because what's going to happen is people are going to start to drop off over the next couple of weeks. You're going to see it. You're going to see hobby coaches sort of start to disappear, and we're going to come into Summit. And as we come out of Summit, Country Heat is going to release. And all of a sudden, all of these coaches who haven't been anywhere to be found all summer are going to show up on August 1st with their stock photos of Country Heat, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, Country Heat is out. Who's going to join my challenge group? Who's going to join my challenge group? But if you're the ones that are out there now promoting the sneak peek of Country Heat that's dropping, I don't know if it's the end of this week or early next week. It's in the Coach Online office. If you're the ones that are promoting that, if you're the ones that are promoting these groups, if you're the ones that are sharing how this business is fitting into your life as we ramp up into Summit, your business will explode coming out of Summit. The momentum, I don't know if any of you guys have been to Summit. I don't know if you're going to Summit. It's unlike anything you've ever been to. The momentum that your business will have coming out of Summit is inexplicable. It's just crazy. So you have to stick with it, especially now. This is such an important time. Take the time, share what you're doing. Like I said, these are not, crazy out there sort of tips, but I tend to say to my coaches all the time, and they don't respond to it as much anymore because it's me. But what I say to them is just sort of think about where you are now in your business, in your health and fitness journey. Maybe you're healthier, maybe you're happier, maybe you've got more money, maybe you've been able to pay off some bills, or you've been able to take a vacation, or just be able to take a day off of work and not have to worry about using sick days or using a vacation day or anything like that. And think about how you felt before this opportunity came along. And maybe you were tired and sluggish and overworked or overweight or over whatever. And just think back. What if your sponsor was too afraid to invite you? Like, where would you be today? And why would we want to deprive anybody of that? So don't be afraid, because I can't tell you how many times we've been told no and people come back because it's just not the right time for them. And we tend to think of a no as such a finite sort of thing when it's really not. It's somebody just saying, you know what, I'm not ready to commit to this right now. But if you can understand that and you can accept that and you can still develop a relationship with them, when they are ready, you're going to be the one that they come back to. And they won't just go and find some random person who's posting about a challenge group to go sign up under. They'll remember that you invested in them, if that makes sense. Do you guys have any questions? Sorry, I flew through that kind of quick. That usually takes me over.
That was awesome. I actually took nine tips. I know you said there were 6, but there's so many good things that I wanted to
sort of ramble off.
Yeah, I loved it. I do have some questions, one for me and a couple that were submitted before, but before we get to that, does anyone else that is on the call live have any questions? If you do, you can just unmute yourself or type in the chat box. If not,
what was the name of the book?
The Magic of Thinking Big. It's by David O. Schwartz. You can get it on Amazon. If you're an Audible junkie like I am, it's on Audible.
David Schwartz, you said?
David O. Schwartz, yeah.
Okay. I've seen that on Audible, I think. One of the questions that I had for you is, do you send cold invites through personal messages?
Yes, but I send them to warm market.
Okay.
So the idea behind that is, and I always have coaches that are like, oh, I have to jump into my cold market. And I'm like, no, you don't. You find people that you don't know that would be your cold market, and you bring them into your warm market. Because we're sort of designed so much differently than any other MLM, network marketing, direct sales. It's not really direct sales, but whatever you want to sort of label us as, multi-level helping, whatever. We sort of are on such a different level that it's such a relationship business that I find it can be hard to sort of get to your cold market And especially when people want to have that sort of change and they want the support, they want to be able to have at least some sort of modicum of trust with the person that they're sort of either signing up with or getting their challenge pack through, that this person is going to kind of be there to support them. So I do. I have my team, they send cold invites, but they send it to their warm market, to people that that they've already been friends with on Facebook, or people that they have talked about a challenge pack or a challenge group or something like that with in the past, and it hasn't been the right time for them. So they are sort of a cold invite, but it's not to a cold market.
Mm-hmm. Not to a stranger.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then 2 other questions that were submitted before. One is, how do you mostly invite people? Through personal messages, events, posts that you do? What is your go-to way to invite people?
Mine is usually postings. It took me a long time to get there. It took me a while to really sort of grow that following, that when I could make a post that had a call to action in it, I would have people that would respond. In the beginning, I did post, and when I had interest, it was a lot of following up. It was a lot of back and forth messages. And that's really what it is that the fortune is in the follow-up, because there's some graphic out there somewhere, and it basically says that like 55% of people or something like that won't even consider making a purchase or whatever until the 4th or 5th follow-up. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what, that's pretty typical, because that's me. Like, there are so many times, I use some of the Rodan and Fields products, and my girlfriend would message me and she would be like, you have to let me know what you want so I can fix your auto ship. You have to let me know what you want so I can fix your auto ship. And I would be like, yeah, I'll get to it. And because life is busy and we are all busy, I would forget about it. And it wasn't until she would message me like 5 or 6 times, and I'd be like, oh my God, I have to go do this right now or it's never going to get done. And when I could sort of remember that, like, that's how I operate, you kind of remember that probably the rest of the world tends to sort of operate that way too. So I think if you're having trouble, go back and really sort of check yourself on your follow-ups. For me, that's a huge thing that I tend to kind of, I want to say harp, but I kind of do harp on my coaches about, when they're like, oh, I invited 5 people today. And I'm like, okay, so you should have followed up with like 10. Like, you should have followed up with people from the last 4 or 5 days, a couple of people from, 2 days ago, and a couple of people from the day before that. Like, for every 2 or 3 people that you're inviting, you should be following back up with twice that amount, because we're all just busy and people tend to forget. And if you just let them know, and you don't have to be a pain in the ass about it and badger them. If you're just like, you know what, I know you wanted to do this. If you want to do this, you have to, I don't want you to miss the group. You have to get your order in. And I sort of tend to work the same way too. And I'm like, oh, how long do I have? And they're like, well, if you want it by this date, you've got to order today. And I'm like, all right, let me just go do it. So sort of think back as to kind of how you operate, and just sort of flip it and be like, you know what, everybody's kind of busy. But you have to keep following up with people. I think that's where so many tend to, I don't want to say drop the ball, but so many people tend to lose out because they don't follow back up.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Matthewson just shared a photo of, it was like this, from some sales meeting, the number of follow-ups, and it was like 80% of sales are made during the 5th to 12th follow-up or contact with them, which is just insane. Like, I know it's a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. So you have to just keep going back to people, and you don't have to go back and feel like you're like bothering them. Mm-hmm.
I see a question from Ashley. She says, I have a friend I know from college. I haven't seen her in a while, but she's doing the diet or die challenge, but she's been considering lipo, and I just can't live with myself if she doesn't try to work with me.
You know what, Ashley, I totally feel you. Like, I'm not even kidding. and I'll give you guys a little backstory to this. So there was a girl that I was in a mom's group with a couple years ago, and we all sort of left the mom's group because those, they tend to get really dramatic. So we sort of left and kind of like made a very small one. And this girl, she was morbidly obese.
That's
and
too.
I just wanted to help her. And I was like, Nikki, like, I don't send Shakeology to anybody for free anymore because people don't see the value in it. But I was like, if I will send, like, if you just commit to like 7 days with me with a meal plan, like if you just eat what I tell you to eat for 1 week, I was like, I will send you a week's worth of Shakeology samples. Like, I just wanted to help her. And it was never a good time for her and this and that. And then we moved last fall. So I kind of lost touch with a lot of them just because I was busy. And she posted the other day that she's like, oh my gosh, I've lost, I don't remember what she said, 16 pounds or something in the last 2 weeks or something like that. And I'm down 30 pounds from the start of my journey. And I'm like, good for you. Like, that's awesome. I don't know what you're doing. Clearly you're not doing it with me, but whatever you're doing, that's fantastic. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. That's so amazing. What are you doing? And she's like, I got the gastric sleeve. And I was like, no. I said to my husband, I was like visibly upset by the whole thing. And I was like, and everybody's like, you're so inspiring. And I'm like, oh my God, this poor girl. Like, so that's a mental thing. And you can't, when they have that sort of set in their head,
and it's sad because she's like doing this diet or die, which I don't know if anyone's looked it up, but I actually like researched stuff, look at the chemicals, like in the breakdown of the supplements and all that. And it's being advertised on 99.1 up here. And it's like the R&B local hip hop station. And it's like, you're literally, that I don't want to knock the program, but realize that you're paying to benefit their pocket because these are supplements that you can get in a shake, like Shakeology, any day of the week. I said, I don't have to take my daily vitamins anymore because I get to do the shake. And it's down to, she's showing me her Snapchats and she'll run a mile and eat 3 hot dogs with every topping on them. And I'm like, listen, let's do it. Do you want to join my group? We're going to set up a meal, whatever it might be. And just try and get her involved. Something to spark that kind of like curiosity in her head. And it's a blank slate. She's never been like this. So I'm wondering if she went through something and whatever it might be. And she's Snapchatting this. She had a clementine and a water today for breakfast. So I took a picture of mine and I said, I had hummus. I didn't even fill my entire, fruit container. I said, and I got to have my Shakeology and I put a little bit of protein powder. And I was like, I was set for the morning. She's like, I'm not, it's like you said, every excuse. But I can feel her coming. And I don't want to give up on her. I really don't, because she was such a good person and friend to me that I want to kind of repay the favor, I guess. But it's just, there's no self-fulfillment. What are you going to get out of the liposuction? The painful procedure? Really, at the end of the day, you're paying for a lot more.
Yeah, and when it comes to stuff like that, like the people who want to explore surgery and the crash diets and stuff like that, 99% of the time they will come back. She's not ready. She's not ready to sort of make that mental shift into it. And you said it yourself. If she's like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to work out, but then I'm going to go and eat whatever I want, she's just not ready for it yet. So the only thing that you can do is just to be there to support her and just, and care about her and just say, like, if this is working for you, that's great. And I support you. But make sure that you're eating the right number of calories in the day,
Yeah.
Right food. But, when people are considering surgery like that, that's a tough option. And that's sort of, and maybe that's probably why I couldn't resonate with this girl that I was friends with, because she was morbidly obese. And I personally, I don't understand that sort of mental sort of emotional aspect that goes along with that sort of massive kind of weight loss. I don't understand. I can't relate to it. And I would hope that if she did want to make healthier changes, she could find somebody that would work with her that can sort of understand that part of the journey. So it sounds like she's just not ready. And the only thing that you can do is just be a friend and be there to support her. in whatever way she'll let you kind of support her until she's ready to come around. I mean, I wish I had a better answer, but we see stuff like that all the time, and
Yeah.
she's just not ready.
And that's what it sounds like. So I've been trying to like kind of back off a little bit because I'm like watching these, YouTube videos and all the helpful tips, and it's like, kind of give her some space, but, revisit it, down the road a little bit. And I'm just such not that person. So I have to, but I'm going to have to do it because I just don't think when she's ready, she will. She's that kind of gal. So.
And that's actually just a good tip in general. Like, that's what all follow-ups will be. All those follow-ups, they're not ready right now, and that's okay. Just keep them on your follow-up, form with them in between. But, in 3 months maybe, write her down so that, in 3 months, reach back out to her and just say, how is that diet or die challenge going, And one thing I like to say recently is, are you liking the results you're seeing with whatever they told me? So, like, are you seeing results and loving it at the gym? Or are you loving the results you're seeing with isogenics? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, I actually haven't stuck with it, or no, I'm not seeing results, and then they get on board. So exactly like what Brianne said, is just be there for her as much as you can and keep building that relationship, but don't press too hard, especially when they're not ready like that.
Perfect. Thank you.
So one last question for you, Brianne. How often do you expand your network, and what is your preferred way to do that?
Oh gosh, you got to be doing that every day. You really do. And I tell my coaches that if they're serious about it, we still just use a variation of the regular business activity tracker. And that's what my coaches use. And they need to be expanding their market every day, whether it's adding friends on Facebook or connecting with, friends of friends, if it's somebody that go back and go through and see, like, if your high school graduating class has a Facebook group, or the people that you went to college with, or things like that, and just sort of grow your market, even if it's just by 2 or 3 people every day. For me, I don't accept friend requests on my personal page anymore, so I'm like moving everything to my like page. So I try to just grow that by a little bit each day without paying for it. But yeah, I mean, you should be growing it every day, because you never know what somebody's going to see that's going to sort of spark their attention and be like, oh, I kind of want to come back to this page. And that's the reason why we always want to be consistent. You always want to be adding value, because if you have somebody who's new to your page and they come on and they're like, oh, she hasn't posted anything in like 4 days, like, why am I even going to follow her? She's not going to post anything. You want to be out there and you want to be adding value, because the more value that you add, the more that people are going to like your post. And we all know as Facebook works, the more time somebody likes your post, the more you're going to start to show up in their newsfeed. So when you're constantly adding value and providing good content, you're basically just going to like be in people's faces all the time. And then they're going to have no choice but to see you and see what you do.
So Facebook groups is the main way that you do that?
I don't now, because I don't add people on my personal page anymore. I kind of send everybody to my like page. Yeah.
Okay. Julie says, once you grow your list with a new friend from social media, what do you do to keep them? Speak with them personally?
No. That sounds so terrible to say no. No, I go through and like I use like the interest list that we can do on Facebook, and I'll kind of look at their page and I'll like a couple of their pictures and I'll comment on their pictures so that they start to show up in my newsfeed a little more, so that when I come on and I do my inviting or my forming or stuff like that, I come on and I see, who's got new content up. And then when they start doing that, they'll come and they'll like and they'll comment on your posts. And I make sure that anybody that comments on any photo, I always reply like directly back to them, which is why I like that Facebook has that little thing now you can like reply just to somebody's comment and it doesn't go in the long thread and sort of bother everybody. But I always reply back to everybody individually, because that's sort of what starts the relationship. How much time do I spend liking and commenting others? It depends. I do like maybe 5 to 10 minutes out of my like power hour. but I repeat that power hour usually 3 times through the day. Like I do, if the kids are quiet in the morning, I sort of do one in the morning. And then I would do one like in the afternoon while they were at school. And then I do another one at night for the people that sort of hop onto Facebook at night and do things like that. But you don't have to worry about spending an hour like liking and commenting on people's posts, because that's kind of like a waste of time. That takes a lot of time, and you want to be doing stuff that's income producing if you don't have a ton of time in the day to work your business.
Mm-hmm. And do you ever direct message your new friends if they haven't liked any of your posts, or just a new friend that you're trying to engage with?
Not usually. No, not often. If we have like a batch of cold invites that we're doing, like if I'm doing a live power hour with my coaches, sometimes I will, just to be like, look, here's me sending an invite to somebody I've never spoken to, never had a conversation with, things like that. But I usually don't.
Okay. Awesome. That was the list of questions I had. Does anyone else have any questions before we end the call? No? All right. Well, thank you so much, Brianne. I took so many notes, and I'm actually going to go live in my team page after this with like some key tips that I learned from you. But thank you for hopping on, and thank you guys for having me. Of course. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.